Okay, this is the release team front-end paired programming streaming take two. Um, so as mentioned, last time we were looking at doing some declarative form stuff on our deploy token page, and we've managed to wrap the scopes into a nice little declarative object that decides kind of how to display the tokens, uh, the scopes, how to display like what scopes are end up in our final object. But it might be fun to maybe expand on this for the rest of the form. Also, the challenges that kind of come with that. So I think what we can do first is we hop over to the editor. We can take our scopes. So this is where we declare all the scopes. And let us expand this a little bit. So let's add one for deploy token name. Yeah, the deploy token username looks like our first one, right? No, name. Where's the name then? Is it just called username? Oh, this is our, we've made the token. I see, I see. Okay. There we go. Deploy token name. Editor here. So for an ID, we'll just deploy token name for label this dot sign dot description is this dot sign option uh, uh, and then for value put an empty string for scope name. Scope name, how did we end up using that with the scopes? Do you remember? Did it end up being the like name value for the input?
No, I think it's just as a child
Scope type.
template.
Okay. So and then for scope name, I guess we'll. Well, okay.
I think like here, if we want to JSONify the text inputs, right? We need to add some field here that would indicate the type of the input that we are dealing with, right?
Yeah. So what we can do here is let's add component field. And our component field will be GL form input.
Actually, Andrew, before we venture a bit further into this path, let's also just ponder around other options that we have, right? So currently we have this scopes array, right? That is solely responsible for scopes.
Right.
So maybe we just add some other array that would indicate labels that we're dealing with, for example.
Sure. Let's do, what should we call it? Let's, why is naming things so hard?
Yeah, that's the hardest part.
Bonus points when you're like naming things in public. Call it fields. Simple, right? And we'll take this guy, we'll move him up here now. And we'll do a geo form group for field and fields. The key will have field probably about 2. And for label, field dot label. Actually, what we can kind of, well, no, we don't want to do that. I was going to say we can v-bind on everything, but that would make our ID become an ID, and we'd have multiple IDs on the same page, and that wouldn't be any good. Label for .id.
And I also noticed that one of the fields that we are dealing with, so the date field, is actually also another component. It renders date picker.
Yeah.
Unlike name or username.
We can I don't actually know how it is a date picker right now from the looks of it. But we can modify it so that it is also a date picker. Would be fun. And then we can use the fancy view thing called component. We use the binding is, and that's kind of how we tell view that we are passing it a component. And then value field dot value ID of ID value wrong, and the name is also field.id. I think we save this. Go look at the browser. Do a nice little refresh to make sure it works, and we should have 2 usernames. But just in case. That's a lot of red. This dot options is undefined. Okay. From the top here. Oh, this dot option is undefined. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, no red this time. Now if we expanded the deploy tokens, what do we have?
Nice.
Name. All right.
Amazing.
So for this expiration date, is it? No, that's a date. They're maybe back in Emac. Let's see, in the editor. They're like a.
There is a GL date picker, right? So this guy.
Yeah. Oh, it is here. No, but this is at the bottom.
So it only is rendered when you actually click into the input.
Oh, I see. I see. I guess that's one way of doing it. Like it's acting like a tooltip or something, right?
Yeah, I guess.
It has this target that is going to make things tricky.
Yeah, I think we need
Who did this?
like a tiny component for that.
Okay. I think let's go back to the browser. here. I think that we go to GitLab UI. We can kind of just use it as a form. Um, let's try this maybe. Maybe there's
Yeah, that
something
looks promising actually.
form group. Nothing in the form group. Maybe we can find next time I need to set up some hotkeys to switch between windows. Yeah, so this has the date picker, but it still has an input though. Maybe we just go to source here. To the template. Okay, so yeah, we can just use it as an input field. Cool. Let's try that out first. We want to delete the target. We'll just call this. Right? See what happens here. Okay, so we have a date picker. You have to explicitly press the button to open it up.
Yeah.
But it seems to work about the same. Sure,
But
it probably.
you can also type there, I think now. Before I am not sure if it was possible.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good point. It's not a real date. um, we do need to get it to be the full width of the page, but
Can you clear it though? No. If you just remove everything.
no. But saw one of these examples has a clear button.
Ah, yeah, there with a clear button.
It
Okay.
just says show clear button. Did it? Clear buttons clicked. I wonder if we actually need to do that or not. And get away with just the show clear button prompt. There is a clear event, but maybe we don't need to listen to it. That would be kind of nice, right?
Yep.
Because the prop is a Boolean, we don't even need to bind it to anything. Its presence is more than enough for it to count, which is kind of nice.
Oh yeah, no, there was a button.
Oh, awesome.
Amazing.
I think we might have to listen to it eventually to um, null out the date, when it's clicked. But for now, okay. So we've got the name. I guess the date picker is probably next on the list, isn't it? Just copy this. And then start filling it. Token hires at field. Add a token hiring label. Value is null. Name is, I think this ends up as expired that in the final. And then this time the component is GL form. Go back to the browser. EM placeholders is undefined. We'll refresh. GL form, oh, it's not GL form date picker, of course. That would be too consistent. I guess maybe you want to pick dates elsewhere outside of forms. No red this time. Name date. Name date. All right.
Yeah, but our button is not there. So we need to pass this attribute, right?
Right. Okay. So for that, let's kind of split up our object a little. Let's have field field attributes. And then we want the ID, the value, and we'll call this is for shortcut purposes. Value is, and then when we go down to our v4, we can replace all of this with find, and this should kind of spread all of these attributes across, and then all it should be is a matter of adding a show clear button here, which is not the most strongly typed thing in the world, but hey, you don't have to play with strong types, then might as well take advantage of the dynamicness of everything, right?
Makes sense.
Do a big refresh. Tokens. Let's add a date. And here's our clear button again. Yay!
Awesome.
Right. Now, I think this one will be kind of interesting. Because if I remember correctly, it utilizes a slot. We have to figure out kind of how to shove a slot into this little situation. Delete this. I don't need this anymore. I want to keep the most of the original form though, just for like validating that everything looks the same. So we have to get this description.
Oh wow, that's
here.
Complicated.
Yeah. Well, let's do the easy bit first. This might be kind of where it goes from reasonable to unreasonable.
Yep. Too custom.
This is username, empty string. Is the input. That's it for the field attributes, and then label. I think I might have an idea though. Username description. Description. And token username label.
And you have a typo in translations.
Part of this being my temporary setup is that I haven't set up like Prettier or ESLint or anything yet, so it's all like it's just flying blind, sort of.
I see. Yeah.
We'll get there eventually. That's it, right? And then the description is this dot $sign dot add direction. Okay. What are we dealing with now? Yes. Okay. So we have the raw translation string here now. That's progress. Let's see how we define this guy. Let's come to a good idea on how to deal with him. So the message, what is this placeholder thing? Just so that we can avoid. Yes, okay. So originally, little GLSprintf history. Originally, GLSprintf only looked for things like that were camel case, start, link, end.
Okay.
But if you're coming from Ruby, they obviously prefer snake case for a lot of stuff. So we have a lot of like historic translations that have these snake case placeholders instead of camel case ones. But if you go and change the translation or the placeholder casing, it kind of voids the translation automatically. So somebody has to go back and check it and make sure they like it. I don't know. They have to rubber stamp it, but somebody has to go do that, right? And that's kind of a pain, especially because most of our translations are done by the community, by volunteers. So we have this special placeholders thing to help us do the conversion. So what we can do, I think, here is because, and this makes it even easier, because the string in the browser here has the this GitLab deploy token end thing kind of embedded into the string, we can use glsprintf in our v4 section. So what we'll do is go back to the editor, find our v4, and we can do down here, we'll do template, description, and then we can do VLS printf. Message is field.description. We'll remove it from this. And if we go to the
Okay, that
browser,
makes sense.
everything should still be working fine.
I think you forgot quotes around the description. No?
Maybe. Oh, a little soupy. The descriptions are still there at least. I did forget quotes. This is the fun of like HTML is like, does it what actually matters here? You know?
Mm.
Okay, and then for placeholders, we'll just put placeholders.link. An interesting refactoring potential here would be to just mash this all into like one big object, one big set of placeholders. Because I don't know if there's really any gain from having them split out like this. And then in our template, we can have, or in our sprintf, we can have templates. We just kind of basically take the template from the.
But was it a link or was it a code in the case that we are interested?
That's a good point. It's a code. All right. Code. And in this template code. And that's really only is still easy because we don't have to. We can just use this like scope slot version of things.
Mm-hmm.
Although at the same time, I guess we can just, if not, we can just shove more. We'd have to like create a description object and then shove all of the things that go into the description object in there. And that'd be kind of. I'm also not sure if this still. I'm not sold on whether or not this makes sense, but
yeah, I agree. It might be a overcomplication.
it's kind of fun anyway. For the maybe it's for academic purposes only.
Yeah.
And now we see
some powerful view features we're using, so that's at least cool to try out.
One day we'll have to go. Maybe we can do like an exploration of how the feature flags front end code kind of works because that's a little bit fun like this as well. There's a lot of due to the like nature of how the strategies are all different. They have to be like brought in various ways. Yeah, there we go. It is codified, and then all of the other descriptions still look fine. So now we need listeners. As we found out in our MR review of the last MR, we can't really use vModel on these, right?
No, we can. What Natalia was not happy with was that we kind of bind to the result of the computed property. So once we don't have computed somewhere along the path, it should work fine.
Oh, okay. So for the scopes, we still just vModel scope.value.
Yep.
Wow. In that case.
And also, like in our case, it worked even with computed, but only because, at least right now, we do not kind of do a deep copy of objects that we compose through this computed. So if we would use something like immer or whatever, then this stuff wouldn't work
Right.
because we would have the new references for
Right.
objects in the computed.
Cool. Well, then in that case, a simple addition of the model onto this component should hopefully work. And the best way to test that right now is because we still have the old form up. Typing in one, well, no, I guess it goes to a different value. You just have to check in the dev tools. Dev tools? Don't scare me like that, dev tools. Okay, so hopefully we go in here, we go into our da, 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 da.
I think you're looking fields, right? It was
Yeah,
over there.
everything is alphabetical, and the value is good. Right. And let's see here. So now we need to get everything into our object instead. Is my
Open the door.
is my code very okay? All right. So for create deploy token, make sure that expires at is the right case. It is. Good job, me. Okay. So first we're going to take this dot fields. We're going to map them. And we are going to create something of the shape of field.name, field value. And this handy dandy formatting is very useful for the function object.entries. Hopefully JavaScript gets a pipeline operator soon. If you work for or know anybody at TC39, help make it happen, please. And then we should be able to swap this out. Read the deploy token. We'll lock it just in case. Just to make it easy. Okay, now we go back to our browser. We forgot a comma. Comma is gone. All right. Everything's reloaded. Okay, so you missed some magic here.
Oh no.
Yeah. So first what we do is we map our fields and we create the closest thing JavaScript has to a tuple, which is a 2-item array.
Makes sense.
And we can pass an array of these tuples to a function called object.entries.
Ah, smart.
And the idea is that it takes the first thing as the key and the second thing as the value.
Nice.
And now we are going to log. We're going to log the body to make sure it all works appropriately, but it should be fine. Also, somebody at TC39 should finally approve the pipeline operator, because
That
why
would
not?
be wonderful, actually. Yeah.
Like I know, so JavaScript is fun in that it is very like multi-paradigm, right?
Hmm.
But it's also not really good at any of
Yeah.
them. So that's a joy.
Can make it work, but not like really enjoy what you receive at the end.
Yeah. A read repository. Okay, create deployed. Our post failed hard. That's okay. See what happened here. Object.entries didn't work the way that we expected. Interesting.
Maybe the API is not quite right. I think object entries actually returns you the entries and not creates.
Oh yeah, maybe I'm thinking of create from.
Yeah. Yeah, object dot from entries. I think that's what you're looking for.
Ah, another fun, strange. I think that's like that in my brain comes from like old, not old, but like jQuery isms, where if you didn't pass anything to the function, it would be a getter. But if you did pass stuff to the function, it would be a setter. You remember that?
Hmm. That's been a while.
I don't know why, but it's embedded deep in my brain. That would be how it worked. Okay, test token. Well, spelling mistakes make the best tests. Uh, some date in the future. Username is hello. Read repository. Create token. We got a 400 this time, so that's progress. Username test token undefined hello.
Classic.
I do JavaScript not having a problem with it being undefined. Just being like, okay.
Did we forget to provide a name field?
Sure did. I sure did.
Yeah.
Somehow I lost your I lost you. What happened? Oh, you're back. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Fifth time is the charm, right?
Of course.
Still at 500. We are making progress. Got all our scopes in there. Got a username. We've got expires at. I bet this wants a string. We are missing our name. So is that what it's complaining about too? Yeah, null value in column name.
That makes sense.
Oh, I realized I didn't stream that. I gotta get maybe get like scene swapping hotkeys set up, I guess.
Yeah. Those fancy stream decks could help, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we
Oh,
get there if we do it long enough.
turns out this one was set to username for some reason.
Huh.
That doesn't sound right. Yeah, it should definitely just be name. Okay. Name. This is pretty fun though. Maybe I should just start doing this for fun. To figure out stuff I'd wanna code outside of work, I think, but Be a fun way to spend an evening. Oh, I didn't see a 500 error. I see a token.
Yeah, I think we got it. Fancy.
We've done it. We have done it. I'm sure none of the tests work now. Although we didn't have to. Did we have to mess with the just tests at all last time?
No, it just worked. So here we maybe would have to delete some stuff, or I don't know.
Yeah, we delete all this. Oh, we'll do it again for the camera. Delete all this. Run the test. Fails. Ah, yes. Interesting actually that it kind of looks like these should work. Huh. Especially because we don't even have a form input group.
I think so. That's all related to username, no? And I think that's because of the naming mismatch. So I think if we just rename something in the test, it should start passing, I guess.
Without an expiration date. That's the issue. No.
Ah, okay.
Oh, I think I see the issue. So because mock Axios like looks very specifically for this object,
Mhm.
something about what we're sending it is different. And I'm sure if we just see here, what the oh it isn't. Okay, where's my logging?
Wait, but
What?
I think what also changed is we replaced the input, right, that showed the date picker with the date picker itself. So maybe that also screwed up some of the tests.
No, because it's name is 0 and then username is oh, but it's not a form input anymore. Right. Actually change this. Good. Yes. Good call, Andre. Good call. Oh.
But still something to do.
Yeah. Our posting is still just not working. Maybe this button is different now because of.
No, this one I think is the submit button.
Part of being in a temporary setup right now is also not having good debugging setup, which is a joy. Yes, no name. No name. No text. Who are you? Who are you? Is it the clear button or the calendar button?
Good call, actually.
Calendar button. Okay. How do we mount this? We shallow mount it and it's still, the date picker actually has the buttons? What? Well, you know what?
But to be honest, I'm also not a big fan of getting the components that we want like that.
Yeah. How do you feel about fully mounting components in tests? I don't know if we've talked about this yet.
I mean, that depends. I would honestly like most of the cases would render everything.
Yeah? But I'll tell you, because the easiest way I can think about doing this is using mount extended from test util burn. What it's called. Yeah. And instead of calling shallow mount, we call mount extended. And then that lets us use the DOM testing library. So in our deal button here, instead of calling find all components, we can call wrapper.find by role. It's not even a form submit button. Find by role button. Name. Do we import the translations in these tests already? We do not.
Yeah, because also the translations were very recently moved out before they were inside.
Right. I'm not like a big fan of importing the translations in the tests because I feel like it's just testing to make sure I can like spell the same thing, spell something consistently, and not actually test to make sure that the text is right. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
But for now, as we are pushing into the, oh wait, we didn't click. We didn't import. Components part. Because it's a real button. Real button. Be able to call click on it. We don't have to do like an emit.
Yeah, which is nice. I think that's basically you can more or less ensure that
Oh,
you're getting what the user is getting.
it failed even harder.
Find by role click is not a function. So I guess it didn't find anything, right?
Yeah. Oh, this Firefox still has the Sting Playground extension, which was pulled off the store for some reason. And doesn't want to work. Uh, no, that's too bad. Okay then. Is it create deploy token? Cut out. Cut out the variables. Still no?
Maybe we could add a test ID to the button and just get it by test ID.
Yeah. Something doesn't seem to be mounting. Oh, actually no, not that quick. That's clear, but
Huh. Okay, so
well,
maybe then the previous one also worked.
yeah.
Mm.
Still didn't work. Well, we're a little bit over time. All that's left is some unit test futzing, but maybe I can wrap this up. I don't know. What do you think? Should we stick with this refactor? Should we put it up or?
I don't know. It looks pretty daunting, to be honest. For example, just imagine a person that just lands on this component
Yeah.
and then just some, I don't know, indirection and data structures just to render 3 more fields. I'm not sure if if the use case is complicated enough to justify this part.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you. What would you think instead about something like this, but for um the whole form as like a separate library, like a utility you could pull in?
So you mean like construct a form from JSON?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, especially like if that would be standardized or like more widely promoted way, I think that would work for sure. Given especially that, yeah, I don't know. Huh. So what I think is like, what would be the ideal use case for that, right? Is when you have a form that you use to create a kind of post request body or something like that, or like a mutation parameters with kind of straight one-to-one mapping field to the parameter.
Yeah.
In this case, it could be very nicely kind of automated. The whole flow, basically, like the form and that you submit it with some post request. But for general purpose form building, again, like it might be proven too complicated or less flexible than you would like it to be.
That
Because
is
even
true.
for even with this simple form, right, we already experienced some challenges, for example, with the formatted descriptions and so on.
Yeah, that is true. That's true. I think we can supply. I think there's a way to supply slots as like, but then we get into like we're getting away from kind of templated components. But you can set them as like render functions and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you might be right. And this might be just a little bit. It got a little unwieldy, but it was definitely a fun exploration.
Yeah, man, it's pretty cool dynamically creating components and this smart bindings. Pretty
Yeah.
nice.
There's only one other place. Like, there's one place that I know of that uses it, and it's basically we for the feature flags form, we basically had a type um, strategy parameters. Yeah, so we set a strategy type, and then we map that to a component that deals with the parameters for that strategy type, right? So if you're doing a flexible rollout, it pulls in the like, or for an easy one, if you're doing a percent based rollout, it just pulls in like an input box for the percent, and then all of that still funnels up very nicely into the thing. But that's definitely a little more complicated because you have like each of these different types has a different parameter type, and then if you have stuff like the GitLab user list is kind of complicated because it has to um, it's complicated because it has to go out to the API and fetch like all of your user lists that you need to be able to like get and do autocomplete searching on. So
Yeah, makes sense.
well, anyways, it's been fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. And this will be a fun little recording, maybe to show off to somebody or something at some point. But until next time, signing off from the group release team.